definitely the oldest one here, class of '85. I'm Nick Wilkie, and I go to every steer roast. And I've just got to say, if the administration is concerned that Senior House has low graduation rates, and they're trying to be helpful, why on earth would they rip the support system out from under your feet? This is really upsetting for me and people of my generation, but I really feel for you guys, the juniors and the seniors that are going to, well, hopefully won't have to, but that they're telling you that they want you to go and move somewhere else. I can't even imagine like losing your home and how disruptive that would be. So I'm just hoping and praying that there's some way that the administration can rethink this and come up with some kind of compromise that supports you guys. But I'll tell you, the alums, we're really here for you, and we wish you all the best.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm in 2017. I just graduated. And I'm inspired by my friend Megan's sign. And this past commencement, Rife went in his speech to this whole spiel about during commencement, MIT is releasing the latest of its new products, and I think nothing elucidates for me more than that whole spiel how MIT views its students. We don't need more career advice. We don't need like meal kits and stuff. We need a community. When I came to Senior House as a freshman, I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything about like MIT. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I don't know where it would be now if I didn't have upperclassmen in the dorm telling me how to get through my DRRs, how to make food for myself, and just helping me through the adjustment process to college.
Hi everyone, Lutheran Maury, class of 1998. I'm not the oldest one here. All I gotta say is stay strong. This has happened before. In my era, back in 1995, they shut down Senior House. They gutted it, remodeled it, and threw everyone out. And I can see, we come back 20 years later, and the culture's still there. So don't think just because they want to take the building away from you, you're not going to lose the culture. Stay strong, and you can keep this place going. All right?
Hi, I'm David. I'm Senior House class of '08. When I first came to Senior House in CBW, I'd never met a trans person or a genderqueer person or anything. And the supportive culture I found at Senior House helped me explore my own identity. And I can't overstate how valuable that was to be treated with respect and support when you don't even know your own identity. So thank you everyone, and stay strong.
More people can speak.
Hey, I get stage fright, so I left before, but I have more things to say. Thanks. Please fill in with some sick guitar riffs. Guitar. Okay. So MIT is a place for really fucking smart people to do really fucking awesome things. That's why we're all here. We're not different from the rest of MIT in that way. And the administration needs to know that. Because they also have to decide if they want us, individuals, queer people, people who are confused about our identity, come from strange backgrounds, experimenters, people who push the envelope in many different ways. They need to decide if they want us here. And with those comes a lot of risks. There are people that do a lot of really stupid experiments and screw stuff up or blow things up. But those aren't the kinds of experiments that we do.
Stupid people are in all of the dorms though.
There's also a value to like exploring, getting order from entropy, or expressing like, right? I don't know. Come on, like. You need it.
Yeah. And there are hackers who do really dangerous things, but they're really also very awesome. And MIT seems really proud of those, huh? They seem to like tout and say, hey, come to MIT, we're awesome. We build roller coasters in courtyards. We build electric vehicles in shopping carts. And we like make Tesla coils that make huge sparks. We fire spin. We also explore identity. We also express ourselves on walls. We also like cats.
Meow.
So MIT, do you want people that like cats to come to MIT? Do you want us here? Now is the time to answer for that. If you don't want us here, then tell us. But if you want us here, give us Senior House back.
Sorry, I'm late. I just got here. Okay. Hi, I'm Jazz. So I'm a current Senior House resident, junior. I think I'm a junior right now. And okay. Thanks. You know, Senior House. I feel like I might say some redundant things, but I mean that should just go to show the culture. I committed to MIT when I got to Senior House. CBW, I stayed somewhere over there, and I walked myself over to the east side of campus. The second I went into the courtyard, I think it was like the bouncy ball drop event or something, I knew I have to live here. I went out of my way to live here. I was in another dorm. I fired into Senior House. I have fought to stay here on so many grounds. You know, I found a family at Senior House. My third wave family first. My Senior House is a community family as well. I discovered them. I discovered who I was. I came out at Senior House, and that was like. I feel like Senior House is such a vibrant community, and there are so many pre-frosh that I spoke to this last CPW, that they were like, we didn't even know there was a place like this here. And now I'm thinking about coming. And I had this event, I had this moment, and I can't think of anyone else not having it. It's crazy that this is the second summer in a row where I'm not sure if they're gonna let me back in. Senior House is, excuse me, profanity. I'm not gonna do that. It's effing wonderful. It's part of my MIT experience forever. And you know what? Long live House, support that, because only life can kill you.
My question is, do you still sell the rest of the shirts that we have yet?
You know, I have a friend who wanted to buy one, so I'm not sure. I have to send an email about that.
sell them and then that money just goes to
I mean, they're not
Well, it's done now. They can make their own like pilot someone
if they do.
plus toys or something.
Right?
Like plus airplanes or something.
Give them little mini planes.
Exactly.
I feel like, don't they have better stuff to do?
So, I've just been told that Chancellor Barnhart not only is not here, is not even in Cambridge, Massachusetts. This just means that you all have to come back next week. MIT is an institute. It is not an institution. Do not, I beg you, let them sterilize you. Reif talked about us. Raphael Reif, the president we thought we loved, called us products. Do not let them commodify us. I never lived in senior house, but so many people have told me that senior house literally, not as a figure of speech, but literally saved their life. That without the community that they developed in senior house, they would not be alive today. And I call many of those people very good friends. And I would be very sad if they were. Even more people have told me that senior house was the reason they came to MIT. Oh no, I have a microphone now. This is awesome. I can feel the power. That because of a community that was outspoken and experimental and colorful and unafraid and unabashedly queer. They came to MIT to be a part of that community, to show the world and their families at home and the rest of MIT that technical and scientific expertise does not have to be sterile. It does not have to be bland or boring. Technical and scientific expertise. Technical and scientific. I don't. That talent is what I see all around me. That sure, we all go to MIT. We all appreciate the value of cold, hard facts. And I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial and say that no matter what else they might have said that was complete and utter bullshit, a 4-year graduation rate or a 5-year graduation rate or however you want to put it is a problem. But that only goes to show how deeply, how wholly and completely the MIT administration has failed the residents of Senior House. How any remedies they might have tried to enact were far too fucking little, far too fucking late. And I want to say that the remedies that did help the increased presence of student support services, the increased presence of MIT mental health were exactly those remedies which were well supported and even encouraged by current senior house residents. We know, using we rhetorically, but we know what it is that we need. We need support, we need understanding, we need genuine resources that we can use in the ways we deem best. We need peer teaching. We need intentional communities that will support us for who we are. We do not need $9 fucking meals. The fact that MIT is trying to do this to you, to us, and disperse you throughout the Institute without any regard, without leaving you with any of the extensive resources that they are going to put into this new Pilot 2021 program, just goes to show how deeply they have written you off as losses, as products. I beg you, from the bottom of my heart, do not let them. That's all I had to say. Anyone else want to let their voice be heard?
Hi everyone. I'm not actually a resident of Senior House. I lived on an East campus all 4 of my years. I lived on Beast, Second East, and I'm a 2017. But I have a confession that I haven't told a lot of people actually. No, I'm about to tell everyone. I did not graduate. I'm about to become one of the statistics that they are going to use. But if it was not for East Campus, if it was not for Beast, I would not be one of the 5-year whatever graduation rates. I would be one of their suicide rates. Like, I cannot tell you. Beast really saved me in East Campus, and I completely understand what everyone is going through. It's all part of context, right? I had depression before I came to MIT. And MIT, and especially unfortunately my academic department did not have any support for me, and I suffered heavily. But it was always East Campus and Senior House and everyone, the students who were here for me and who got me through. When I had to go into JLab and have my professor roll his eyes at me as I told him I had depression and I couldn't finish, I went back to Hall, and my Hall attacked me with hugs. And it was the best feeling ever. And I needed support, and I needed more support sometimes from MIT. I eventually got that support through my friends reaching out to mental health, getting help. I am on the up. I am improving. I am definitely, I'm getting through this, and I'm graduating. Voices about this. I will become a statistic, but I have a story, and that story is not a failure of East Campus, a failure of East Side culture. It is in support of East Side culture. It is in support of everything that student communities like Senior House do for us. So thank you guys so much.
off of that, especially since she was talking about statistics. I came here and Rachel said I'm like class of 98. Yes, I'm officially class of 98. When I arrived at MIT, I was supposed to be class of 1995. So it took me a little longer than normal to graduate, but I'll tell you this, don't let them put you in statistics. Don't let them put you in this group that says, you know what, you didn't graduate in 4 years, therefore, you're nobody, you're no good. It took me 7 years and I graduated. All of you can make it. All right, every single one.
So, I am not a senior house resident. I lived in Random Hall for 2 years, and then I lived in East Campus for 2 years. But I am speaking here because when I look out at all the people who are out here, it's not just senior house who is affected by this. It's all of the dorms, all of the living groups here at MIT. And our presence here is a testament to that. There is New House, there is Next House, there is East Campus, there is the Prayer, there are fraternities, there are independent living groups, all out here to support senior house and living group culture. Everyone here recognizes that an attack on one community is an attack on all of us. We will be out here week after week, day after day, until our demands are met, until senior house residents can have their home so that we can all have our home.
So hi, I just wanted to tell a little story about my time at MIT. So my freshman year, I lived in Baker House. And oh my God, it sucked. I remember the end of my freshman fall, I put my name in I follow my parents' rule a lot, and I really shouldn't do that, and I don't do that as much anymore, but my parents made a lot of decisions in my life, and I listened to them, and it was very obvious that they didn't know who I was. So my freshman year, they were like, Adam, you should live in Baker House. It's really great, you should live there. And I'm like, okay, fine, cool. But really, I remember talking to the person I ended up rooming with my freshman year, and I was like, I would love to live in East Campus. We should really rank East Campus first. I think East Campus is great. And when I found out I was in Baker House, I was like, oh, great, cool, I'm in Baker. But I remember sitting in my dorm room the end of freshman fall, literally unable to get out of bed. I was so miserable in Baker. I hated it with a passion. I felt like I knew no one there. I had no support system. I never felt so alone. And I remember then the next semester when I found out I was going to be able to move into senior house, they actually screwed up my email and said I had to stay in Baker, and I was in tears. I called them because they're like, oh no, you're going to get in, you're fine, because I was on the wait list. And then when I found out I was going to get into East Campus, everything just looked up. My sophomore year sucked major balls, I'm not going to lie, and I definitely would not have been able to make it through without the help of my East Campus residents, of everyone in East Campus who was there for me. And I cannot tell you how important it was, being able to stand up and say how amazing this community is and how much I appreciate all of you guys. I cannot express in words what East Side culture, senior house, East Campus means to me, how all of MIT means to me. It's the people here who make MIT what it is, not the administration. Also, super on the DL, I give tours. In my tours, I talk exclusively about how amazing senior house is, how important. I started talking about senior house in my tours. I tell people what's going on in senior house, why they should care. I talk about why we need to have freshmen integrated with upperclassmen. I tell everyone what's going on because I think it's so important that people who are interested in MIT hear this stuff. We can't just stand here and like let administration paint this picture without telling people the actual story of why it's important and not why, oh, look, all of our freshmen are like friends with every classman and they do these cool things and like, oh my God, MIT is so cool. Like, you should listen to us because we're administration. No, you need to hear that through the students and you need to hear why the students think that's important. So, thank you for your time.
I'm back, sorry. I wanted to say that, you know, I'm another one of those statistics too. Didn't graduate in 4 years. Graduated in 5 instead. It happens. I'm sure you all know plenty of people to whom that has happened. And were it not for the community here in East Campus, in Senior House, the truly wonderful support system and community that we here at MIT have developed. I don't know that I would have graduated in 5 years. I don't know that I would have come back. I don't know that I would have graduated in 8 years, or whether I would be alive. Another one of those. So, yeah, that's all I had to say. Just, we're out here.
When I first showed up to MIT, my freshman year sucked. I kind of didn't really have a lot of feelings about which dorm I lived in. I hadn't explored a lot, and I ended up somewhere that was fine, but it wasn't home. By my freshman spring, I had started hanging out on the east side more and more, and I wasn't telling anyone at the time that I was struggling. I was struggling to pass my classes. I was struggling to adjust. I'm a queer kid. I'm a poor kid. I grew up on food stamps, and I was lucky enough that financial aid here at MIT let me come here. And when I got to the east side, I found people who were explicitly weird, who were low income, who talked about their life, who were queer. And when I finally was able to move to the east side of campus, my community gave me the words to what I was struggling with. My community was the one who pushed me out of bed, who encouraged me to make appointments with S-Cubed and with mental health. My community was the ones who got me able to take medical light load on time that I didn't get kicked out of MIT. I'm another one of those 5-year plus statistics, and you know what? I fucking graduated last week. If you had to fight depression, if you had to fight mental illness, if you had to fight... all of the intersections that I just need represented in Senior House, in the East Side, and MIT as a whole. Why is that a problem? Because I think the students that have survived and that have pulled through despite what life has thrown at them are the ones that MIT should be looking at. These kind of supportive communities are so important to MIT. They were so important to me at MIT and to so many people that I know. And tearing apart that support network is only going to hurt people.
Hello, everybody. I'm Diana. Or by Jack. I don't know. I don't know where to start my speech because there are a lot of parts of me, both personally and generally, that are offended by this move. I personally spent all 4 years living in B entry of McGregor in the same room, in the same corner, because it was a big ass room. Hell yeah! But I came here one person, and I graduated last week a different person, and that's because of my community. That's because of the people I found. Living in B entry helped me grow in one way. And then, after 2 years, I found the East Side, and this year I found Senior House. And I am so disappointed that they are taking that away, because I need that home. I came here knowing that I had depression, and that I needed to pursue mental health. I came to MIT because I saw that you could choose your community, you could find a family, and I needed a family when I came here. Whether it's senior house, anywhere, because I know how important it is to have that family, to have somewhere to go at the end of the day. That's the thing I tell freshmen. That's the thing I used to tell freshmen, and I hope I can keep telling freshmen that, because that's what makes MIT special. You can find a home and you can grow and you can change. It doesn't matter if it takes 4 years or 8 years. It doesn't matter. It's about finding your home.
Hi guys. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Slowly but surely, MIT is chipping away at any sense of student culture, any sense of student life. And I know that there are a lot of people here who are not from senior house as well as those who were, but we need to realize that every knock that they make is a knock against MIT campus culture overall. And this is what has made MIT a unique place and what's kept us at the top. MIT thinks that it has something to prove, or certain administrators have something to prove by putting something on their resume, by changing something, by improving something, by turning something around. What they have to realize is that they're turning around what's already great. And they don't recognize greatness when they see it in some sense, which is unfortunate, but we need to help them realize that. I lived in a fraternity for most of my time at MIT, and then my final semester I decided, you know what, like, I have a great group of gentlemen here, I have friends for life, but while I'm still an undergrad, while I'm still at MIT, I need to experience something different, something crazy, and something you can only get on MIT's campus, and I moved to senior house. And I enjoyed it. It was short, but I hung out with people, enjoyed it a lot, and it's something you can only get while you're here. So we need to make sure that students in the future get that. We also need to realize that we blame the chancellor for doing this, and she's officially the one doing it, but we also have to blame President Reich. We need to make sure that he doesn't escape this, keeping his image clear by having Cindy do his dirty work for him. Make sure that we talk to the people who actually can overturn the decision, and not just let the higher-ups, whoever they are, get away with this, because they can't.
First East and East Campus, and I could say a lot of things that have already been said about how important my own community has been for me and how important First East has been for me, because it really saved me. I came from abroad and I had a hard time, but I think there's one anecdote about my life that probably you should all know, which is that at the end of my freshman fall, I had some very bad experiences related not even really to my community. My community was actually very supportive, but I started sinking and going more and more into depression, and I had kind of a breakdown. And at the end, what did the administration do about it? After a long procrastination, I have to say. They sent me for 2 weeks to senior house. The last 2 weeks of my freshman fall, I was completely devastated. I liked my community, but I just needed to zoom out. And I'll be honest, I don't remember much about those 2 weeks just because of the whole thing. But what I remember is that I just plopped in this room in senior house, and I absolutely knew no one. And I was amazed at how even residents on that floor immediately just invited me to be maybe part of their hanging out and try to have me be part of their community, even though they knew I was going to be there only for such a short time, just the last 2 weeks of the term. And I will forever be grateful to Senior House for doing that because it helped me.
Do a speech, but I guess I would because I remember an anecdote, and I like surprised myself because I had not thought about this moment for years. So freshman year, okay, background. My name is Francesca. I'm from Peru. I consider myself an East Campuser. I just graduated last week. So, the first 2 years of MIT, I lived like McCormick. I know it's weird. It's hard to believe. And as much as I love, I thought those 2 years were very good for me. I love the girls there, but it was not my home. And how do I know this? It's like I have this memory of me freshman year, spring freshman year. Like there is a room in the penthouse that is all white walls. It's a tiny room, but there's only a desk and it's all white walls. And I thought of myself, if I could lock myself in there for as much as I needed to study for a final or so, that was gonna be enough, right? And then now that I think about it, I spent nights there. I spent nights there. I spent nights crying there. It was the worst room of my life. And now that I think about it, it was the way I felt inside when I was leaving McCormick. So forward 2 years, junior year of MIT, I was leaving for first time, the first East in this campus. It was great. I'm a bubbly person. If you ask anybody who knows me, I'm very bubbly. And I'm very happy, especially now that I have moved to this campus. But now, fall of junior year, my grandmother gets cancer. And at the same time, my cousin, who's my age, who I had grown up with, gets cancer. And it's like very bad. My grandmother was in stage 4, my cousin had it in her brain, so it's very strong for me. Someone who I thought would have like grown up with me and shared all the experiences in my life. So it was a very hard time for me. I thought I had gone past the hard part of MIT, and then I realized that this is what really hardship was. And I couldn't function. And then everybody at first noticed this, and like they all tried to support me. The day that I got a call by my mom that my grandmother had passed away, I had 2 options. I could have chosen to lock myself in my room and not say anything. Or I could go outside in my hall and see my people. So what I